Hello. What up, y'all? What up, what up, what up? I hope all is well. I'm a little behind, but hey, I'm here. I made it. Thank you all for your patience. And with last week, I had to cancel at the last minute with all the chaos that I was dealing with. All good chaos, just a lot of things that was happening at one time. So thank you all for your patience. I am going to get some stuff pulled up here. And we'll get started in just a second. Uh-oh, my music's going in and out. Why? I don't know. I think my laptop might be getting a little tired. Yeah, she getting a little tired. So I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna keep going in and out. Yeah, bear with me in all of my, hi Hiru, how are you? Bear with me with all of my chaos. My laptop is like acting like it wants to die, but I turned it down a little bit. So as far as like preserving my battery, so we should be good. I hope all is well. I'm excited to talk through our feelings and emotions today. I might have to turn the music off because it's going to keep going in and out. Just a second. Because it doesn't want to, bear with me. Yeah, it wants to keep going in and out. So I'm gonna restart my computer, unfortunately. I'm glad I'm on my phone. Yeah, I just restarted my computer because my computer is acting wiggity wiggity whack. But as it gets pulled back up here, I'm excited kind of to talk through feelings and emotions. That's what we're talking about this month, but specifically today. Again, forgive me for last week. It was chaos. Hey, Kiki. So I'm glad that we're able to jump on and kind of talk through, feelings and emotions today. As always, feel free to use the affirmations that we talk through today, however you wish to. Feel free to change the language. Feel free to, adjust as we go. Sent me a private email when you have a chance. Oh, you sent it today? If you sent it today, I probably didn't see it. But if it was like yesterday, I think I went through all the emails yesterday. But yeah, so feel free to use affirmations however you want to use them. If you want to use them in your journal, if you want to use them and write them down on sticky notes and post them around your house. However you want to use them. If you want to record yourself saying them, feel free to do that. Feel free to change the language. And then I want to also just kind of like, probably won't go too heavy into it, but like talk about just emotions in general. Because I feel like a lot of the times we have a hard time articulating how we feel because we don't have the language, or we just simply don't understand how we're feeling or what the words to use when it comes to emotions. So I wanted to talk through that a little bit too, and answer any questions you guys may have about that, because I feel like a lot of if you sent it today, then yeah, I probably didn't see it yet. So I'll take a look. Um, I want to talk through that a little bit because I feel like a lot of the communication issues that we have in life are simply because of the fact that we just don't know how to articulate how we're feeling. And so we articulate it in ways that aren't conducive for our relationships, or we articulate it nonverbal through our physical actions. It's articulated through irritation, it's articulated through fatigue, or even just anger. So just wanted to kind of talk through that today and see if there is any guidance that anyone needs, but also just to kind of give us some education surrounding it, because it's not something that we think about, but it's something that we deal with every day. And I think a lot of times if we just could understand our emotions more, it would help us in our day to day. I'm finally back up. Let me see if I'm gonna not play any music because I don't have time for the foolishness today, laptop. We need to have a long talking to my laptop tonight, but she getting tired with graduate school and work and business and YouTube. She's getting sleepy. Okay, so just to kind of talk through understanding emotions, right? So there are 6 key emotions, and then there's a lot of branches that come off of those emotions. So a lot of times when we're articulating how we're feeling, we're tapping into those top 6 core emotions when there's a whole lot that's coming in underneath that, right? So hey, how are you? I don't know. I guess I'm assuming that's the name. I'll take it. Welcome in. So when it comes to emotions, there's 6 key ones. So the 6 key ones are, and actually I wrote these down: joy, anger, fear, peace, sadness, and faith. Okay? So sadness, joy, anger, fear, peace, faith. Sadness, joy, anger, fear, peace, and faith. Now, you may see these core emotions stated in different ways depending on, what you Google or whatever, because when you look at different theories, and when it comes to therapeutic theories, they may use different words or different language, but it all pretty much means the same. So sadness, joy, anger, fear, peace, and faith. Those are the core 6. But overall, there's about 87 to 88 different emotions that are associated with those 6 core pieces. So a lot of times we may say we're sad or we may say we're angry, but we're really experiencing secondary emotions or other emotions, right? So like, for example, I have a few here. So say if you're thinking about fear, right? You're fearful, right? But you may also be experiencing irritation. Actually, let me pull these ones out. You may also be experiencing irritation, feeling rejected, confused, helpless, insecure, anxious, discouraged, insufficient, weak, foolish, or embarrassed. So we may just say that we're fearful, right? But we actually may be experiencing these other emotions. And because we're only saying we're fearful, that's just the surface of it. We're not getting down to the root of us actually being fearful because we're embarrassed from a situation that happened when we were little. Or we're fearful because we feel helpless because this situation reminds us of something that we, had some type of helplessness or hopelessness. We're fearful because when I was in this situation last time, I was rejected. So I felt rejected. So I'm fearful of being rejected again. So there's always a link to the actual emotion. So if I look at the other ones, so like say if you're feeling sad, right? I'm like, oh, I'm feeling sad today. But you may also be experiencing guilt, shame, depression, loneliness, boredom, tiredness or fatigue. You may also be experiencing, a feeling of being inferior or inadequate, feeling miserable, stupid, or bashful. There's so many pieces that are attached to sadness that we may just say, "Oh, I just feel sad," but there may be something, underlining. Oh, I really feel lonely, and in my loneliness, I feel sadness. So really thinking past that surface of anger or sadness, and really thinking about how am I truly feeling? What other words can I use outside of sadness that I'm actually experiencing? Yes, make sure to like the chat. Thank you, Kiki. So that's sadness. I'll do another one. Anger, our favorite, right? You may be experiencing anger. You may say, "Oh, I'm angry," but you're also maybe experiencing hurt, rage, hatefulness or hate, self-criticism, skepticism, irritation, furiousness, frustration, selfishness, or jealousy. So just thinking about, what am I really experiencing? Am I angry or you just maybe angry because you're sad and you feel a certain way because you're sad. And now that I'm sad, I don't like the fact that I'm sad. And now I'm angry that I'm sad. You know what I mean? So it all can link in together. And what's another one that I had here? So faith. So on the other side, if you're experiencing faith, you may also be experiencing appreciation, thankfulness, hopefulness, importance, respect, proud or pride, cheerful, satisfied, valuable, confident, and intelligent. And then that is faith. And then peaceful, you may also be experiencing contentment, thoughtfulness, loving. That's where love comes in. Love, trust, nurturing, relaxed, optimistic, and thankful. Thankful was in that one too. So there are so many other aspects that you may be experiencing, and we're just thinking about those top 5 or those top 3 emotions that we're thinking about, but there's so much that actually goes into it. And you may be able to get down to the root cause of why you're feeling a particular way by looking past anger, by looking past fear, and really seeing exactly what you're feeling. So I hope that was helpful into going into these affirmations. Again, I'll go back through the 6 core emotions or sadness, joy, anger, fear, peace, and faith. You may see it in using different words or different variations, but the majority of it is the same. And really thinking about why you're experiencing those core feelings and emotions, and seeing what else comes up. A lot of times anger comes from shame. A lot of times anger comes from guilt. So really just think through why you're feeling what you're feeling and where those things are coming from. Awesome. So with that being said, we have 6 affirmations for exploring our emotions. And I hope these are helpful. Again, you can change the language however you wish to. If this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I am a certified meditation coach and soon to be LPC as I get through my graduation, my graduate school. The voice that you hear on the meditations on the channel are all from me. Meditations are posted weekly. It hasn't been as frequent as I would have liked with me starting school, but we're getting there, okay? I'm on a new schedule, y'all. Work with me. All right, so top 6 affirmations for this week. Number 1 is, I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them. I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them. I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them. A lot of times we have, and I feel like I've said this so many times before, we have to understand that our emotions are teachers, right? It teaches us about our environments, and it teaches us about us internally, right? So it teaches us about how we're feeling, it gives us like inclinations of what's wrong, or if we do have the issue, or if there's a problem, whether it be internally in our minds, in our bodies, or in our environment. So it's just a teacher versus it being something for us to be fearful or afraid of. So taking the time to not just honor your emotions, because a lot of times we get into the habit of, oh, I feel just how I feel and that's what it is. And we don't explore exactly what that it is, right? So we honor our emotions, yes, but we also must take the time to understand them, because without understanding, there is no knowledge, right? There is no wisdom. There's nothing that actually comes from you honoring something without understanding it. So we honor all of our emotions and take the time needed to understand them. And then also too, just understanding that our emotions and our feelings are valid in that moment, but it may also still lie to us, right? Sometimes our emotions are based off of perceptions or based off of our own traumatic experiences. So even though we are honoring our emotions, we also must challenge them, right? So am I feeling the way that I'm feeling because of my perceptions or what I think is happening? Or am I feeling based off of what's actually happening, right? So sometimes, have you ever been in a situation where you felt a way about someone, and then in the end, you were like, oh, like that wasn't even their intentions. Like that wasn't even what they were on. They were just going through a thing that day. Like, I understand, I give them grace. But in that moment, you was about to go off, like all the way off, right? Like you was about to just like go in on them, right? But that was just based off of your perception. So understanding that we honor our emotions, right? Understanding that we need to understand them and why we feel that way, but also be able to differentiate between whether the emotion that I'm feeling is based off of perception or if it's based off fact and truth. Our emotions are temporary, all of them, right? And when it comes to what's happening, sometimes we make permanent decisions off of temporary emotions. So it's not just honoring them and understanding them, but also being curious about them to the point where you challenge them. So I know that was a mouthful, but I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them, but even be curious about them. Adding the curiosity, because the curiosity is where healing comes. The curiosity is where growth comes. And without that curiosity, we're just going to be a bunch of just people just walking around with a bunch of emotions that we are honoring and understanding, but not processing. And the curiosity is the processing piece. Okay, so that was number one. And I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them. Number two, I am capable of understanding and processing. See how I did there? You know, I let us into it. You know what I'm saying? I am capable of understanding and processing even the most challenging emotions with patience. I am capable of understanding and processing even the most challenging emotions with patience. I'll say that again. I am capable of understanding and processing even the most challenging emotions with patience. The with patience part is the most important, because we can't, if we're on this journey of healing and growth and bettering ourselves, it's going to take time. And sometimes we experience these emotions that we're experiencing, and then we get frustrated because we're experiencing the emotions, and it doesn't feel like we're, again, feelings. It doesn't feel like we're progressing. It doesn't feel like we're getting it. It doesn't feel like we're moving in the direction that we're supposed to. And because of that, we then turn into a relapse, and then we end up falling way back into where we started instead of operating in patience and without judgment. So understanding that even in the process of us honoring our emotions, us taking the time needed to understand them, us taking the time needed to process them, and all of those instances, also making sure that we are practicing self-compassion, we're operating in patience, and we're making sure to understand that this is just a human experience that we're experiencing, and it's something that we're becoming more aware of day in and day out, and it's only going to get better with practice and with time. Now, some of us may have more difficulty with processing our emotions than others, and it may be more detrimental for you to understand emotions and feelings and how to process them. I get that. But also, if you have, again, depending on how old we are, right? If you have years and years and years of operating and processing emotions a different way and you're trying to change that, it may take time for that progress. So be patient with yourself, practice self-compassion, practice being present and self-awareness, and being able to catch those instances in the moment versus it being an afterthought or after the fact. That's just going to come with practice. But guess what? We deal with feelings and emotions every day. So that means we can practice every day. So if we get it wrong today, that's okay. Go to sleep, sleep that thing off, wake up tomorrow, and tomorrow is a new day. You can figure it out the next day. So just making sure to be patient with yourself, to not go and judge yourself when it comes to these different situations. But making sure that you're making the progress, but making the progress at a rate that makes sense for you. It may be more difficult for you to process anger than it is for you to process sadness, or it may be more difficult for you to even accept happiness and allow yourself to be present in the moment and be happy versus it being you being able to process the faith or the faith option of it. So just keep it in mind that this is all a learning experience, and being patient with yourself in this process is what's most important. Sorry guys, I've been talking all day, okay? Between school and I'm a recruiter, all day. That's all I do is talk. That's number 2. Number 3, let's see here. Emotions I experience is a natural part of my humanity, and I accept them without judgment. See how everything is just kind of leading into the next one? I'll pat myself on the back for that. You know what I'm saying? Number 3, emotions I experience is a natural part of my humanity, and I accept them without judgment. I'll say that again. Emotions I experience is a natural part of my humanity, and I accept them without judgment. So just taking that patience even further to accepting these things without judgment. Now, when I say accepting without judgment, it doesn't mean that it's not something that you need to get better at or fix. It's just a matter of taking it as it is and understanding that this is where I'm at now, right? Sometimes when it comes to processing emotions, or just in general, when it comes to making a change, you have to accept things first in order for you to actually move forward. Did I? No, you did not. Like accepting no, that's not what it is. So when it comes to, when it comes to the emotion, the experiences, right, without judgment, making sure to accept those areas or accept those things that you're struggling with as it is, but then also making sure to not just practice self-compassion, but also making sure that through that acceptance, you're able to make the change, right? So that was emotions. Emotions I experience is a natural part of my humanity, and I accept them without judgment. The acceptance part is the most important, because once you accept something for as it is, not accepting that it's okay, right? But accepting that it is as it is without any judgment, that then allows you to move forward and to make change and to make adjustments. So that was number 3. Number 4. Yes. Number 4, I trust myself to navigate through my emotions and grace. Oh, wait. I trust myself to navigate through my emotions with grace and wisdom. I trust myself to navigate through my emotions with grace and wisdom. I'll say that again. I trust myself. Thank you. Thank you. Because I don't have time for the foolishness. Anyway, I trust myself to navigate through my emotions with grace and wisdom. So a lot of times when it comes to processing emotions and processing the not just processing emotions but also understanding the emotions, we have to make sure that we get to a place where we're able to trust ourselves. A lot of times we have a hard time dealing with our emotions and what we're dealing with in general, because we don't trust ourselves. And because we don't trust ourselves, that is a blockage, right? It's a blockage from us being able to dive into the analysis of understanding how we're feeling and why we're feeling the way that we're feeling, because we just don't trust our feelings. We just don't trust ourselves. So this affirmation is a reminder that you can trust yourself. But I know that there is a caveat to that where we truly just don't trust ourselves just based off of our own history, right? So we know as we've gone through life, through my history, I know that my emotions can get the best of me. Like this is just who I am. And it's not something that I feel like I can trust. So then you have to go through the process. And again, this would have to be through therapy, but understanding why you don't trust yourself and what is it about yourself that is creating this this area of not untrustworthiness, I would say. And a lot of that has to do with intuition. A lot of that has to do with discernment. A lot of that has to do with just our past experiences and understanding that, hey, I don't trust myself because of the fact that I, just haven't been the best when it comes to anger, or I just haven't been the best when it comes to sadness. I find myself in depression often. So this may be a hard one for some, just because of the fact that you have your own experiences with yourself, right? You know yourself the best. So you may have your own situations that you have to deal with when it comes to trusting yourself with your emotions. So that's definitely something you'll have to work through therapy, or it's something that you can definitely journal to kind of really think through and understand, okay, what is it about me that I don't trust? What are the areas of my life that I don't trust myself? And that may be a difficult conversation to have with self. That may be a difficult thing to journal. But it's a realistic thing to have a conversation with self or with a therapist about it, because if you're not able to trust yourself, then how can you heal yourself? How can you go through the process of healing and growth if you don't trust yourself to some capacity? So if trusting you is a hard area for you, I would say start there, because that once you're able to build confidence in trusting yourself, then you'll be able to trust the emotions that are coming to be able to teach you about yourself and your environment. And you'll be able to actually process them in a way to where it's beneficial for you and creates a sense of wisdom and creates a sense of growth and healing, versus it being something that you're afraid of, right? A lot of times we're just afraid of our emotions. We're afraid to feel. And once we feel, then that creates more frustration and irritation and anger. Sometimes just feeling in general, it doesn't matter what emotion it is, can be frustrating, because you don't want to feel. Because once you feel, then you got to deal with it, right? So that was number 4. I trust myself to navigate through my emotions with grace and wisdom. Number 5. I release the need to suppress or ignore my emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self awareness. See how stuff just be rolling in. I be forgetting what I be doing sometimes. I release the need to suppress or ignore my emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self awareness. So, this is basically what I was talking about, being fearful of feeling, right? So, the way that we get rid of fear or get rid of whatever we're feeling is we suppress it. It's a coping mechanism, right? Suppression can look in so many different ways. Suppression could be procrastination. That's me. I'm a procrastinator, even when it comes to just my emotions. I know that I'm feeling this way, but I'm going to hold off on even dealing with it because I ain't got time, right? So suppression doesn't have to just be pushing down, right? It could just be delaying, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to necessarily push this down. I see that this is something that I'm feeling, but in order for me to manage life and in order for me to continue, I'm just going to delay or procrastinate having to deal with it. I'll deal with my sadness next week. I'll deal with my anger next week. I'll deal with my grief next month. I'll deal with this, at another time. And even though it's not what we consider to be suppression, because we are aware that it's there, so we're not necessarily suppressing it or trying to ignore it, we're just delaying it. And I feel like we trick ourselves sometimes with that, because then it ends up turning into suppression. It ends up turning into us just kind of pushing it down just to get through the week, and then we get through the week, and then something else happens, and then we end up trying to push past it again and then push it back again. So it just kind of continues and snowballs into this suppression ball. And then by the time we get 2-3 months down the line, and then we look up and then we wonder why we done went off, or we done snapped off on somebody at work, or we done end up messing up things here and there, or we end up losing something when it comes to like a job or whatever, because we're now on just autopilot. So just like thinking through all of those scenarios, guys, when it comes to our emotions, when have we suppressed? When have we just pushed off? When have we procrastinated? When have we delayed? Versus dealing with what's happening in the moment. Yes, hurt dogs feel hit. Yes. And, to an extent, you have to compartmentalize, right? Sometimes we have to. If you're at work and something happens and, you just can't really deal with it in that moment, yeah, that's one thing. But sometimes we do that for long periods of time, weeks, months, years, that we're just putting this in a little box and sitting it up on the shelf, and it's still there, and it's just getting dusty, and it's just getting nasty, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's just sitting there, versus us just taking it down on the shelf, off the shelf, dusting it off, and opening it up and seeing what's in there, right? So Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So it will show up in other spaces, and it will show up in other ways if it's not dealt with. So yeah, there are times where you may have to compartmentalize and put things to the side for a couple of days or something, just to get through, or even just a couple of hours, and you deal with it at night. But a lot of times we do that way too long, and it ends up spiraling and building into something else. That was number 5. I release the need to suppress or ignore any emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self-awareness. Don't forget that part. Understand that it holds the key to self-awareness. The more that we understand our emotions, the more that we understand what we're feeling and why we're feeling, and even when we're feeling it, because when we're feeling it is also very important. If you're only feeling a certain emotion around a certain group of people or in a certain space, that's important, because is that group of people the group of people for you? Is that space or that environment the space or environment for you? So once you really are able to understand your emotions, when, what, why, how, you know what I mean? All of those things. When you're able to really understand that, then you'll be more aware of self. Then you'll be more aware of your limitations, your boundaries, your strengths, your weaknesses. You'll be able to really pinpoint all of those areas to where now that I'm aware of my emotions, why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, when I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and I understand what those feelings actually are, now I can navigate life better, right? Now I can navigate and say, okay, I know that when I'm in these particular situations, this brings up this for me. So when I go into these situations, I either need to prepare, right? If it's a situation that I can't avoid, or if it's a situation that I really don't need to be in, I can just avoid it altogether. So understanding that you have to use this knowledge that you're gaining about yourself when it comes to your emotions and feelings, and understand it to the point where you're able to navigate life the way that you should, based off of what your feelings and emotions are teaching you. May you please repeat that affirmation? Yes, absolutely. That one was, I release the need to suppress or ignore my emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self-awareness. I release the need to suppress or ignore my emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self-awareness. Awesome. That was number 5. Number 6, this is the last one. I allow myself to fully experience and express my emotions in healthy ways. I allow myself to fully experience and express my emotions in healthy ways. You're welcome. I'll say that a third time. I allow myself to fully experience and express my emotions in healthy ways. So once we get a good understanding of our feelings and emotions, why we're feeling a certain way, why, what, when, where, why, how, right? And get a full understanding. Even if you need to journal it that way, put when, where, why, like put all of that. And if it's an emotion that you feel like you experience often. So if you feel like you're always angry, or if you feel like you're always sad, or if you feel like you're always irritated, irritability is a big one. If you feel like you're irritated all the time, and put that emotion on a piece of paper and write down when, where, why, what, how, or whatever, and just put in, okay, when I'm in these situations, this pops up for me. Why? This is why. Who? This is the who. Like, be very specific and write it all out. And once you gain all of that knowledge and understanding, allow yourself to experience those things, but also figuring out ways for you to express them in a healthy way, right? So if you find yourself angry all the time, ask yourself a question. Do you work out? Do you go out and do any physical activity? Is it something that you can put into your schedule where you're able to get, some of that frustration out every day? So that way it kind of calms you down. Is there anything that you can add to your schedule as far as like meditation, or just healthy breathing or deep breathing in the morning? Can you add a walk, or can you maybe add music to your routine? One thing that people forget that is an easy add is creating a playlist that plays every morning when you wake up. Whether it be an alarm or just something that you turn on, you ask Alexa, like, hey, turn on this, this playlist. And you do the same routine, and you be very strategic about the songs that you place on that. Like, maybe it's just the way that you start your day. Do you start your day with prayer? If you're religious, if you start your day with prayer, if you start your day with meditation, you start your day with setting the tone. Because I feel like if you set the tone for your day, it may not control what happens in the day, but it may control your approach to the day. Because sometimes we already wake up frustrated. We wake up angry. We wake up sad. We wake up irritable. We didn't get our coffee, so just thinking about what are some small things that you can add to your day that can help mitigate your feelings and emotions that you experience often. And if you may find that you don't experience emotions. That very well could be true. Some of us are operating on autopilot and we're numb to what's happening around us that we feel like we don't experience anything, right? Like I wake up, I make my coffee, I get dressed, I get in the shower, brush my teeth, I, go to work, I get off, I eat, I watch the TV, I go to bed. And that's what I do every day. And it goes in and out, and it never changes, it never alters. And because of that, I'm on autopilot, I'm burned out, and I really don't experience emotions. That very well could be true, right? So if that's the case, when it comes to what you integrate into your day, maybe integrating something that allows you to be creative. Maybe integrating something that you push to the side you haven't done for years. Maybe it's something you used to like the bowl, or you like drawing, or you did like to take nature walks, but you just don't do it anymore. Or maybe it's just, I used to like to do like these, like cooking or something along those lines. So sometimes it's not necessarily, oh, I need something to relax me or to change my mood, but it may be something to give me a mood, to give me some type of excitement in the day. So if you're experiencing where you don't have emotions, you feel nothing, that's a tough place to be in. I'll keep you in my prayers if that's what you definitely are feeling, because that's not the easiest life to live. But you can change that. You can change that today. You can change that tomorrow in the morning by starting your day and thinking of some things that you liked to do at some point that's creative, that will get your brain thinking outside of your norm, that breaks up your day. Take another way home, right? Get a different scenery, drive home in a different way. Go to a different restaurant. If you order from the same restaurant over and over and over again, pick something different. Go to a different cafe or whatever. Change your hair. There's so many different things. Get dressed up. If you're somebody that dresses down every day for work, dress up one day just to change it up. There's so many different things that you can do to kind of pull yourself out of the I feel nothing. I also would suggest talking to a therapist. You may be experiencing some form of depression as well. But there's definitely a lot that can go in with that, and that's maybe why you're numb. I felt like I needed to say that, because a lot of times we talk about emotions and we talk about people who are just so emotional, but there are a lot of people that don't experience emotions on a day-to-day basis and don't feel like it's an actual issue. We should be experiencing emotions. We should be enjoying life. We should be living in the present. And if you go day in and day out and you're not experiencing emotions, that may be a sign of depression, just to give some insight. So if that's you, it's okay. Be patient with yourself. Don't judge yourself, and take action, right? So we went through all 6, right? So we went through, number 1 was I honor all of my emotions and take the time needed to understand them. Number 2 was I am capable of understanding and processing even the most challenging emotions with patience. Number 3, emotions I experience is a natural part of my humanity, and I accept them without judgment. Number 4, I trust myself to navigate through my emotions with grace and wisdom. Number 5, I release the need to suppress or ignore my emotions, understanding that they hold the key to self-awareness. And number 6, I allow myself to fully experience and express my emotions in healthy ways. I hope that these were helpful. I hope that these were a blessing. I hope that they bring some solace today. I'm going to keep kind of going through emotions as we go throughout the week. I will be out of town next weekend. I'm hoping that I am able to still go live on Monday. I should be able to, but I will keep you guys updated if I'm not. I'll be going out to California next weekend for a friend that needs me to do some meditation for her event. So I'm excited to do that. So yeah, I should be back. I should be good. We still should be going live, but if anything changes, I will let you all know. This live will be saved, and so that way you guys can play it back. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out, you're welcome, Hiru. If you haven't already, checked out my book. Book is called Nah Self, Let Me Be Great. It's a self-doubt, inspiration, and workbook. You can see the link down in the comments. Other than that, you will receive a meditation, I will say, by Saturday. I have like a 25-page paper due, y'all, this week, and I'm feeling it. All right. So, so you most likely won't get a meditation until the weekend. I'll probably post it before I fly out. But if you guys have any questions, anything about what we talked about, feel free to drop them in the comments. Or if it's something that's private, feel free to email me at info@haveninspired.com. Yes, thank you. And if there's anything else that, yes, I know I will bring the book. I don't even have it with me. I think I sold what I had on hand, but I should have some more by the time I leave out of town of the weekend. But yeah, so grateful for you all. You all have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all next week. Bye.